Hey guys, I'm MinishCap1. I'm a multi-season challenger slash master tier Singed main, playing Singed exclusively since Season 2. This is my guide for Season 8 Singed to help you push to your goal tier, applicable to all ratings to help you maximize your game impact and solo carry potential. Why play Singed? Well, in my opinion, he's the most unique champion in the entire game, and he's got a really unique playstyle to match. He's mechanically pretty simple on the surface, but he has tons of hidden depth to master, so if that sounds like your kind of champion, then you're in the right place. Pre-game. So for your runes, against tanks, you want Unsealed Spellbook, Magical Footwear, Minion Dematerializer, or Futures Market, based on your preference, Time Warp Tonic, and for your secondaries, you want Sorcery, Nimbus Cloak, and Celerity. Against bruisers, fighters, and ranged champions, you're going to want to take Perfect Timing, the stopwatch rune. The reason for this is so you don't have to wait until at a maximum 10 minutes to get your tier 1 boots, because against bruisers, fighters, and ranged champions, it's very important to have your tier 2 boots early for defensive stats and movement speed. Alright, so for summoner spells, Ignite and Ghost is what I prefer for solo carry potential. Different things will work for different people. Teleport, Ghost, and Teleport Flash are also viable. I tend to prefer Ghost into teams that have a majority of melee champions and Flash into teams that have majority range champions. I prioritize Flash if the enemy laner is a ranged champion or if the enemy team has Jarvan, Braum, or Thresh, since those three champions have very CC heavy kits that are really good at stopping Singed if he doesn't have access to Flash. I also recommend taking Teleport into ranged champions specifically, since they're much harder to kill solo and harass a lot, which means you'll often get forced out of lane suboptimally and need a way to minimize your CS loss. Hard or impossible matchups. With Singed, your hard and impossible matchups can be very polarizing because Singed has no access to ranged wave clear, and the damage that he has means that his target has to be behind him for it to apply. What this means is that champions that naturally counter Singed, like Teemo and Darius, can completely and utterly shut him out of the laning phase, because Singed does not have the ability to farm against champions like this that can either, in Teemo's case, harass you very, very hard and poke you out of lane, or in Darius's case, just catch you and all-in you with one apprehend cast. Don't be afraid to dodge matchups like these. Aftershock is also a viable option against Darius if you want to try and survive the lane phase. How to use Unsealed Spellbook. You're going to want to swap the teleport on your first swap if you plan on teleporting in a bot lane. Otherwise, take Smite to seal a jungle camp during your proxy, Heal to escape a gank or tower dive, or Barrier. You want to save big ticket summoner spell swaps such as Flash, Ghost, and Cleanse for later in the game to help make big plays during 5v5 team fights. Swap to Ignite if you're looking to make a solo kill play, or team fight nuke on a fed enemy carry. Let's talk about how to play the current laning phase for Singed, as well as when to proxy and how to do it and why. For your level 1 items, you're going to want to start with the Dark Seal plus Refillable Potion if you plan on pushing aggressively or going for First Blood. Alternatively, you can start Corrupting Potion if you expect to be trading a lot due to the matchup and find yourself needing Sustain. Against melee champions such as tanks and bruisers, allow the wave to push towards you at level 1 by not using your Poison Trail on the whole wave. Attempt to freeze the wave in front of your tower at level 2. Now, when the enemy player attempts to last hit a minion, try and fling him into your tower to either get a solo kill or the enemy player's flash. This cheese is most applicable at level 2. Against ranged champions, due to the amount of harassment they can deal, it is better to fast push the wave. Now, what do I mean by fast push? You're going to want to stand in the bush nearest the enemy tower at level 1. Once the minion wave enters the lane, poison the whole wave while you kite it back into your wave to clear it quickly. Focus on last hits. Expect to be harassed by the enemy laner as you do this, and use your refillable potion as you need it. You can generally do this for one more wave before you need a recall. Try not to get greedy and attempt to stay for the third wave while on 75% health and no potion charges. You'll probably die. Recalling after 2 waves throws the enemy jungler off their highly likely plan to gank top because of your pushing strategy. Once you've recalled, you can use Futures Market to buy the second component of your boots upgrade or a Corrupting Potion. Let's talk about my Boots of Speed cheese. Something I've found that can potentially be very effective against ranged top laners to help get through the laning phase is starting Boots of Speed with the refillable potion in order to rush tier 2 boots as fast as possible. This is done by using the Futures Market rune, and obviously perfect timing because this is not possible with magical footwear. Farm 2 waves by fast pushing them, or proxying them, and then recall. On your recall, you can buy Cloth Armor or Corrupting Potion if against an AD champion, and either Corrupting Potion or a Null Magic Mantle against an AP champion. Because they have a movement speed advantage in the early game, it is often possible to proxy earlier than you normally would be able to as well. Worth at this point. And because I have Boots level 1, I can just run back to lane. Itemization. Against tanks, I tend to rush Leandries, then upgrade my magical boots, and then go for Rylai's. After this, you have a few options. You can grab Shirley's Reverie if you're ahead and want cooldown reduction and engage power, or you can go for Dead Man's Plate for armor, health, and movement speed. You can also go Abyssal Mask for health, cooldown reduction, and magic resistance. In addition to this, your third item can be a Zizirot portal for mixed resistances and some side lane pressure. Against bruisers and fighters, you want to rush your tier 2 defensive boots, either Ninja Tabby or Merc Treads. After this, you want either a Leandries or a Rylai's. Leandries for higher damage output, Rylai's for higher utility, and the slow. After you finish either one of these, you're going to buy whichever half of Rylai's and Leandries you do not have. After this, you're going to want either Shirelia's Reverie or your defensive item options. Don't forget to use your stopwatch as well. It is possible to upgrade your broken stopwatch into a Zanya's Hourglass for invulnerability, which is effective against true damage champions such as a Fiora, Vayne, Camille, heavy chain CC, and very high damage output. Against ranged AD champions such as Jace or Gangplank, you want to rush Ninja Tabby in a Dead Man's Plate and Shirelia's in that order. Then build into Rylai's and Leandries. Against ranged AP champions such as Lissandra, Vladimir, Kennen, rush Merc Treads into Shirelia's, followed by Rylai's and Leandries and defensive items. So going into the mid game, once you hit level 5.5 or level 6, you can proxy and either get your ultimate on the first wave that you proxy, or have it available during the start of your proxy. The purpose of doing this is to not only obtain perfect CS, but to have the ability to gank mid lane or teleport to bot lane uninterrupted. You can also recall after taking proxy waves to essentially have a free back, since your lane opponent should be a creep wave behind and will often stall their recall to farm another wave. This allows you to slowly build up a lead. The downside to this is that you are susceptible to ganks from the enemy jungler and mid laner during this time. The enemy support can also often roam to gank you as well. This is when your ultimate and Unsealed Spellbook come into play. You can swap to summoner spells such as Heal and Barrier to help escape ganks alongside your ult, and Ghost or Flash depending on which one you took. During all of this, you want to always be looking to either gank mid, TP or roam to bottom, help secure Rift Herald, or steal enemy jungle camps with a Smite swap. You also want to ward the enemy jungle using these ward spots that I'm showing here. Going in the late game, you want your core items, Leandries and Rylai's, completed, as well as most of, if not all of your third item. Despite what people will tell you, Singed is naturally a bad split pusher since he has trouble solo tower diving and trouble pushing turrets quickly. Zizirot, if you choose to buy it, should not be used to split push and should instead be used to siege with your team, or be placed far away from an enemy tower in a side lane to help create a slow stacked minion wave that forces the enemy team to respond to it. If you have teleport available, let your team know that you're going to be clearing minions from the side lanes. If you do not have teleport available, it is generally recommended to only clear the minimum amount of creeps to get the wave pushing in the opposite direction, and then join your team. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that guide. I tried to make it as bare bones as possible while still fitting as much information in there as I could, so I guess not really bare bones. But I'll try and answer whatever questions I can in the comments, and if I think of any other relevant topics that require a video explanation, I'll go ahead and make another one. But for now, good luck with the climb, guys. You got this.